Q. Cross the front, Andrew Q wins it for the Georgia Swarm in overtime. It was late game heroics from the clutch king, Andrew Q, for the Swarm, taking down Halifax in week 19. Now Philly comes south to stop the bleeding on a 7 or 8 game skid and keep the season alive. It's the countdown to face-off, brought to you by Castor. Here outside Atlanta, the Swarm look to push ahead in the playoff fight. You see them there. They're in a playoff spot. Philly, they are fighting just to stay alive right now. Welcome in to the booth. Nick Kloss, Drew Petkoff here with you. And right now, Georgia controls their destiny. But Drew, for Philly, it's the other end. They're fighting just to stay alive.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they're on an 8-game losing streak, looking to avoid that 9th game loss. Georgia, on the other hand, is looking to win their 2nd straight home game for the first time this season. Yeah,
they're trying to keep it going at Gas South, and Shane Jackson looks to be a big part of that. He has been on an absolute tear down the stretch, Drew.
Yeah, I would say Shane had a relatively slow start. However, the 2020 league MVP has done an amazing job in his last few games, really coming alive in the last one with 9 points, 3 goals, and 6 assists.
He's pushed it in transition, and that's worked well for this Georgia team, but Philly, Joe Reseteris has led the way, the American-born man.
Yeah, Philly has always been an American-first team, and recently this year, Joe Reseteris passed Casey Powell for the all-time American-born leading goal scorer. Now, he, of course, is joined by rookie American Brennan O'Neill. The standout at Duke is dipping his toes in the box, and he's joined on the left side by team captain Blaze Reardon, another American player who's helping show him the ropes.
This Philly team has nothing but talent. Also look to lead today at the faceoff X. Georgia's had the better numbers, but Jeremy Thompson, once again, a healthy scratch for Georgia. Miles Thompson, the other healthy scratch as well. So just one Thompson brother in Lyle. As Roulette picks it up, Nick Roulette played in his first NLL game last week. Looks to help Philadelphia on faceoffs this season. Philly starts off on the offensive end. Here's Mitch DeSnew. Picks it up with 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Brennan O'Neill. They got to go really quick here on the first offensive look here for Philly. And off ball, we got a call going against
too many men. I saw the signal, and I count 6 on white.
So we should get the official call.
Philadelphia penalty, 2 minutes, bench minor, illegal substitution.
So with that illegal substitution, Drew, we already see our first power play of the game. That'll be served by the in-home designated player for Philadelphia. It's going to be Messenger. He's trying to figure out which box he needs to go to. It's that one. But a power play here for Georgia.
Yeah, tough start for Philadelphia. There was definitely 6 on the floor. I saw the ref signal it. I counted it. As we take a look in at head coach Ian Rubel in his first season with the Philadelphia Wings.
Cole rips a corner, and Georgia gets started quick at home. A power play goal to start things off. They're up 1-0.
The Swarm couldn't ask for a better start, and Philadelphia couldn't ask for a worse start. Too many men on their first offensive possession, leading to a penalty, and Georgia scores maybe 15 seconds into the power play, 10 seconds in, as we just see Cole coming around a seal at the top from Q, or actually that he was probably picking down, I apologize. But Q, just a simple pick down. Colesy comes around top and just rips one home. Very simple, but hey, sometimes it's best to keep things simple.
29th goal of the year for Brian Cole out of Maryland. He's second on the team behind Lyle Thompson, who leads with 36, and Georgia takes an early 1-0 lead. Wiedemann with a big hit on the other end, and there's already, we got 2, and we got 1 going. It's Jones and Wiedemann one-on-one. Gloves are dropped. Some rights here from Jones. He's trying to get the other glove off. Wiedemann's just got his cage grabbed. Helmet off. Some rights from Jones. Wiedemann now on the counter, the pull down. Wiedemann and Jones scrap early on. We're only a minute in. We got a fight in the goal already.
Yeah. Well, and for those of you just tuning in, lacrosse is a very physical game. What just happened was a great hit by Wiedemann. I think that was a very clean hit, but it was a very big physical hit. Sometimes, again, in the hockey/box lacrosse culture, even if it's a good big hit, you have someone sticking up for their teammates. So here we see only 2 major penalties for the Swarm all season.
And this is one of them.
This is being one of them, both of which to Wiedemann, however.
And they both have happened in the past 2 games. The Swarm were the only team who did not have a major coming into last game. There's Eddie Camo. He waits for the word in his 9th season, longest tenure as a head coach with Georgia.
Tallies on the play. Philadelphia, 24, has 2 minutes for instigating, 5 minutes for fighting, and a game misconduct. Georgia, 27, 5 minutes for fighting, 2 minutes on the board for Philly.
So we'll break that down here, Drew. You did hear that Jones is gone.
Right, so that's the instigator penalty. An instigator is when you go out for the sole reason of fighting someone. So here we see the hit. Wiedemann, it's a big hit, and it's on Brennan O'Neill as well. So Mitch Jones basically responding, saying, hey, don't treat my buddy that way. And because Mitch Jones came and basically dropped the gloves right away, it takes kind of a lot to get an instigator penalty. It's one that the refs don't like to call. It's one you don't see too often. But again, it's reserved for these times where you're coming to start a fight, and that's the sole reason to do what you're doing. And here again, Mitch Jones saying, don't hit Brennan like that, and unfortunately he gets the instigator call. So the Swarm will be on their second power play here at the start of the game.
So with 14 minutes left, Mitch Jones gets a game misconduct, and Georgia, 2 power play goals on 2 opportunities. 2-0 lead for the home team.
Some beautiful tic-tac-toe from the Georgia Swarm, excuse me, as they go 2 for 2 on the power play. So almost the same play where Colsey scored. He comes up over the top, passes to Lyle. Lyle hits Shane Jackson on the back door.
Shane Jackson, who has been on an absolute tear. Coach Camo has said he's a player who needs other good players to succeed. But when you put the pieces around him, especially like Lyle Thompson, who just fed on that goal, good things are going to happen.
Yeah, Shane does a great job at finding spots on the floor, and we saw it right there. The defensive player for Philadelphia pushed too far up and outside of the passing lane. Shane snuck behind him and gave Lyle that tight but good passing lane that he could hit Shane, and Shane again buries it back door.
Just shows how quick this game can change. Dobson makes the save on the other end on the first shot of the game for Joe Reseteras. Jordan McIntosh pushes down. Andrew Q gets it. Had his second overtime winner. That last one against Halifax. Benedict steps up, bounces one wide. He had 2 goals last game. Career high for him. Bad pick from Benedict, and Philly takes it the other way.
I like that call. Too much of a push kind of from the backside knocks the Philly player down. I think it was a great call by the refs. And Philadelphia, I'm glad they got a shot on their last possession because they need to just start generating momentum, right? Everything's going against them even just so early in the game. And they just need to get good passes and good shots on net. So again, you've got to always bounce back from a possession like we just saw. But early in the game when things aren't going your way, slow things down, take a breath, try and get some good quality shots. Don't necessarily worry about them going in, but start gaining momentum.
Looking at the 12th all-time meeting between these 2 teams, Philly owning it overall 7-4. Georgia trying to chip away at that, losing the ball. Great defense. And the shot clock expired. That was 1-on-1. Tony Malcolm gets the takeaway there for Philly. Get to see the offense work now for the Wings. Downhill, bouncing wide. O'Neal pulling the trigger, and it was coming from that front door. Burns dishes it off. Benedict seeing a lot more run lately. Brennan Bomberry seeing him out the back door a little more for Coach Camoj. Jackson, step down, wraps around, bouncing. Bomberry inside, Cole off the shoulder. Damoud with another save. It was 76% in their last game. Sweeping over the top, moves it. Sam LeClaire up top, bounces free. Loose ball grabbed by Georgia, but quickly slowed down. Mike Manley not trying to use the transition. Had a really good game last game against Halifax. 5+ loose balls, a couple caused turnovers. And also him and Jordan McIntosh, the two main shot blockers on this team. Lyle Thompson stops on a dime. Torrin Eccleston, wrap around, saved and out of play. Tipped, so staying with Georgia.
Good ball movement here from Georgia. I like that they're keeping things simple. They're doing their best to stop Philadelphia from gaining any momentum, and they're kind of doing the same thing.
No room on the backside. Q has a lane. His shot rips wide. Benedict on the rebound. Back for Jackson. A quick 2-0 lead already. Both power play goals. Even strength from Andrew Q. Georgia hops on top of Philly, 3-0 early in Duluth.
Again, I don't think Georgia's doing anything too special here, but they're keeping things simple. I like the looks that they were going for on this last possession because, again, it wasn't too complicated. And here we just see Q kind of with the fadeaway shot, nothing too fancy. He's running away from the net. And as he's kind of getting pushed away, it's a pretty good job by the defender. If I'm Philadelphia, I think we're okay giving up that shot, so to speak, and you're hoping to get a save on that one, as I think it went 5-hole. But a pretty good defensive play from Philadelphia overall, but also a great play by Andrew Q to get his hands free and rip one.
Q now 2 goals away from 150 career NLL goals. Already mentioned it, he had that OT winner against Halifax. He opened up the season with a nearly identical game winner against San Diego and a 1-goal win. Wrapping around, O'Neal couldn't get it. The outstanding rookie out of Duke who hadn't played any box lacrosse and is now growing into a possible star. Georgia here early up 3-0 on Philly at Gas South.
Section 115 to make your way down to the Gold Zone Club.
All right, fans, it's time for Heroes and Villains. When we pan the camera, you give us the right reaction. How about the heroes? What about the villains? Y'all give a little louder for the villains. What do y'all think? The heroes!
It is an early Georgia lead, 3-0 here in the first quarter. But get ready for the playoffs with NLL Plus for free. The league's new streaming service offers fans around the world access to live games, full game replays, highlights, and exclusive content. Sign up today at nll.com/plus. Territory restrictions apply. The Swarm starting off with an early lead, 3-0, 2 power play goals. We already had a fight. Adam Wiedemann still in the box serving that. Mitch Jones received a game misconduct on an instigator penalty. Lyle Thompson in the crease, couldn't get enough air. An illegal substitution earlier on gave the first goal to Georgia on that power play. Philly has had issues scoring in the opening frame. Resenteris gets knocked down, gets it for Leclerc, fires outside. Dobson makes another save. Looking at score away from here. Rochester up 5-1 on Ottawa. Every game matters right now. Ottawa's still in the playoff fight. Rochester is in the fight to host. They got a game right now on Georgia. They're chasing them. Here's Q wrapping around the top. Back towards goal line, extended Jackson. He's wide and feeds it to Cole. A great look and a good finish with a second on the shot clock. Georgia up by 4.
Yet another beautiful passing play here by the Swarm. A great job to get Shane Jackson wide open here in the middle. And so Cole basically sets himself up by getting a great, pick on Shane to get Shane Jackson wide open in the middle of the floor. As Shane's cutting, both players, the one guarding him and the one guarding Brian Cole, essentially are both trying to collapse towards Shane as he does have the ball in front. And Shane just has a nice soft touch and just feathers it over to Brian Cole again on that backside for another open backdoor look.
Talked about how Philly has not been at their best to start games. You see it on your screen. Not scored more than 4 goals. Georgia mounting an attack the other way. McIntosh, the captain of this Georgia team, with a nice BTB to get to Van Scheppen. Defenders have hands too. Would you agree, Drew?
Some of us. Although Mackey's a little bit of a cheater. I don't really consider him much of a D guy.
Here's Lyle Thompson off the post. Resets the shot clock and Dobson can come out to get it.
Let me clarify that. Not throwing shade at him, just from the standpoint of he scores a lot of goals.
He's a lot better at offense than people would think with that defensive letter next to his name on rosters. Q trying to bat it around. Gets it back for Georgia. Flips over for Lyle Thompson. He's got 8 seconds on the shot clock now. Georgia just got to get anything. Eccleston, a nice eat there on the defensive end. And another one.
There's the captain, McIntosh. 7 goals, 17 points this season. He's a great defensive player, but again, he scores a lot of goals, and he's played offense in the league as well. And I believe he's won Transition Player of the Year or 2. So dangerous on both ends of the floor.
It's also great on the chrome, playing professional outdoor lacrosse, played at RIT. Fantastic player.
And we won a national championship together. When I was 21, he was about 18, playing in Oakville for the Buzz, the Founders Cup.
A lot of connection and relationships throughout the NLL and just box lacrosse in general. Especially once you get up to the top level. All the best guys played in the same league, same junior league, same pro leagues, summer leagues. Rebound, another save. Dobson, the third, goes for Philly, and the Wings get on the board in the first quarter with 5:45 left to go. They're down by 3.
I really like this effort by Philadelphia as a whole. They're struggling so far in this game, and this is just a great effort play to get multiple rebounds and eventually bury it. So here we see that first rebound. There's the second rebound, and he does give another, a little pump fake up, gets Brett Dobson to go more vertical, and then he goes horizontal to get around him. So we see him pick it up. There's that little pump to get Brett Dobson to go up. Now in hockey, we say that you need to stop multiple rebounds. As we take a look at the graphic on the screen here, in the first 7 games of the year, the Philly Wings were 5-2, and they were one of my dark horse favorites. But in the last the last 8 games, they're winless.
Well, we were talking about you get to that 5-2, and we were looking at that start and thinking, oh, Philly could be a contender. Things can change quick in this league.
Yeah, they beat Saskatchewan in one of their wins. Saskatchewan being one of the top teams. I had Philly pegged as one of the top teams early in the year, but they just kind of seemed to pile on the losses.
Down low, saved. And it's similar with Georgia. A skid can change your season. Great outlet, but just off the mark for Blaze Reardon. So he'll hold off with Patton on the other end. But Georgia, they were 4-0. Then they go on that 3-game skid. They're 4-3. Here's backdoor, down low. Dobson makes the save. And then they get up to 7-4, and then another 3-game skid. They're 7-7. Q gets stopped on the other end by Demuth. Some transition offense back and forth. Isaiah Davis-Allen, another Maryland Terrapin playing in today's game. 2-time All-American as a short stick D-mid. Step down, blocked. Hickey eats it. Henrik gets hit up high twice, no call. LeClaire getting back. Resiteris wraps around, Dobson sees it. Wiedemann up for Henrik. 2-on-1, they hold off. They still have numbers. Down low, Henrik, no good. Wiedemann, Henrik, rebound. Tossed out with 25 seconds on the shot clock. McIntosh can chuck it across, and Philly has it now. Patton will take a breath, as I will too.
Woo. Yeah, what a furious pace here. I was also going to kind of conclude with Georgia needs to do a better job of controlling the rebound on that last goal. They've controlled the last 2.
Out of play into the stands, and both teams will take a rest. We will too. From Duluth, 4-1, Georgia up.
Stars of Honor students, if you can please stand and show off your certificate. And we look to recognize these Stars of Honor students for their hard work and dedication. These STAR students have been nominated by their teachers for displaying high character in and out of the classroom. Congratulations, Stars of Honor students. Want to learn more about SBL? Check out georgiaswarm.com/SBL. Registration opens this July for the next season.
It is 4-1 here at Gas South with the Georgia Swarm up on Philly, but in Halifax, it is a 10-8 game between the Seals and the Thunderbirds. Halifax is trying to host, and actually right now they're just trying to clinch, but a big goal for them is host a home game right there in Halifax. McIntosh and the Seals trying to solidify their playoff dreams as well, as it's hard to track everything that's going on in the playoff race because there's too many scenarios to count right now. 2 more weeks after this. Feet in front, LeClaire bounces it wide into the netting. Goes straight out, here's some whistles. Wow, we were in the break, a penalty was announced. Brannigan for Georgia's in the box right now for a holding the stick penalty. Swarm get the ball here.
Yeah, so we just saw Philadelphia on their first power play attempt. Not much happened on it. Again, I think they need to keep things simple, just generate some shots.
You know what to do.
Really nice heads-up play, hitting the guy just squeaking out of the bench.
Up top, Q. Soars it high. Here's Mitch to Snoo. Top on Philly, cause turnovers. Rissaterets down for Reardon on the left side. Brennan O'Neill. O'Neill trailing only his former teammate Dyson Williams in points for a rookie this year. Both first overall picks. O'Neill, his shot ricochets high off a defender. Henrik and Wiedemann doing a good job to create a wall in front of Brett Dobson. Plenty of PLL talent on the field right now as well. Brett Dobson, one of the best goalies. Blaze Reardon would have something to say about that. Possibly the best pro goalie. Quick stick down low. 5-hole shut by Dobson. LeClaire puts it down. Goal line extended, stepping up. Wrap around, no good. And it's pulled out. The save from Dobson on the shot from Phil Caputo, the righty, all alone. Transition goal for Georgia. Lyle Thompson finds the back of the net. It's 5-1.
And the momentum again is all Georgia right now as they score a short-handed goal. Nothing takes the wind out of your sails like a shorty. And Philadelphia have to dig deep here. They have to look for something because everything is going against them. I like how they're currently stacking. Great transition play to find Lyle Thompson. Lyle Thompson's never going to make that mistake. And as we take a live look in, we've got all the Philly players lined up on the offensive side except for one. Philly's got to, again, they've got to do something to turn the tides of this game because everything is going against them right now.
Nick Roulette winning the face-off. There he is with the ball, now getting off. Played at Michigan. Played at Robinson High School. Just telling Drew. Nick Roulette, played against him in high school. One of the only times ever I can watch a pro sport and say I played with him in high school. Here's Georgia. The other way, Ranigan out of the box. Can't finish to Mood, diving, no good. Capito trying to capitalize. We got Caputo and Capito in this one. Phil Caputo for the Wings. Joey Capito for Georgia. Coming in a deal from Colorado. O'Neill on a string. What a save. Dobson gets down in a hurry.
Really nice pass from Rissaterets over to O'Neill. O'Neill with a great fake. But a great job by Dobson of standing tall.
Bomberry diving off the top. Damoud was ready. He seals that crossbar on a run. First save to Snoo on the second chance. Philly having trouble getting past this defense today.
Dobson heading to the bench, sorry, with 13 seconds left.
Beat me to it. 6 on 5. 5 seconds to go here for Georgia. Down low, short side, it's saved. And Georgia stopped. But a 5-1 lead going into the break from the first to the second. Started with the Swarm. They got on the board with the first couple before Philly finally answered, but Brian Cole, first up, he's got 2, leading the way for the Swarm. Going into the second quarter, it's 5-1. Georgia on top of Philly.
This is your life without Eero.
Oh, come on.
The Wi-Fi's out again.
This is the worst.
Not now.
And this is your life with Eero.
I love you too. Oh, come on.
Why would you do this to us?
This is the worst.
We can't improve everything in your life, but we can improve your Wi-Fi. It's fast, reliable, and now available outside your home. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
The NLL's March to May is here. 14 teams fight for 8 playoff spots. The march continues now through April 19th.
Coach Eddie Camo for Georgia has to be pretty happy. 5-1 right now at the start of the second quarter, and this is a much bigger lead than Georgia's usually used to. It's been a lot of one-goal games, 9 to be exact, and they got over the hump to be over 500 in those ones just recently, Drew.
Yeah, again, we've talked at length about the parity in the league. It is talent all across the board. Any team has a chance on any given night, and Georgia has unfortunately been on the losing end of a lot of one-goal games, but they've also been on the winning end of a few. So, again, the parity in the league is kind of at an all-time high, I would think. Thinking back to when I played, and
no good there. Wiedemann picks it up to keep it going for Georgia. Swarm had Van Scheppen get back just in case. Now Lyle Thompson just picked up his first. He's got 3 points with 2 assists as well. Q, the sniper coming around the top, went to the University of Tampa. Lyle Thompson out of UAlbany, can't get it on to move. Second chance, Cole gets in the crease, and Philly will take it. The NLL is now on the ESPN app. Download the app or visit ESPN.com for the latest news, schedules, and scores. It's the NLL now on the ESPN app. In front, going off the crossbar, just barely skimming in it. LeClaire heads off. Georgia now with it.
I was going to finish that earlier thought. Just, again, the parity in the league since I started in 2010. 2010, 2011, we had a lot of teams that were pretty tight. And, again, I think that since that time, this is probably the best we've seen the league as a whole.
A lot of good teams. Just a lot of teams close together when it comes to the standings. A lot of 8-7, 7-7 right now. Rochester's at 9-7. They're currently in play against Ottawa. DeSnew tries to go down low. Transition the other way. Van Scheppen pulls it out. Just saw that graphic. 1-9 for Philly when they allow the first goal. They're 4-1 when they score the first, so it's been tough for them to get the offense going quickly. Lyle Thompson organizing the offense. Patient for Q, snaps it late in the shot clock. Now Thompson harassing. Great job by Caleb Benedict. The ride for the Swarm. And a whistle. Keeps it on this end.
Yeah, great job, like you said, on the ride or the offensive forecheck for the Swarm. And it's lucky that they did have that because there were 2 Philadelphia players wide open on the floor. It would have been a 2-on-1 had they not done such a good job, but.
Quick stick there from Q, a nice drawn up play from the Swarm. Isaiah Davis-Allen marking up on Andrew Q right there. Torin Eccleston Pushes down low. He shot out of a cannon mid-year. Jackson snipes a corner. Shane Jackson, appearing in MVP form, has Georgia up 6-1.
Earlier on this year, Georgia beat Las Vegas, and Coach Eddie Comeau talked about how he was seeing hints of what he thought could be one of the best Georgia offensive units that we've had. Up until now, I think we've seen, again, small hints of it, but tonight I think we're seeing a lot more of it as the Swarm are just doing a number, passing it all around as we see this goaltender change here for Philadelphia.
That's Deacon Knott in his second season out of Curve Lake, Ontario. He will now take over for Demude. Knott's 0-2 this season with 60 total saves and 16 goals against, but he will take over duties in cage for the time being. Here's the Georgia offense led by Shane Jackson, who's already got 5 points. Thompson quickly testing Knott. Goes up into the netting, and Philly can take it.
I like this goaltending change for Philadelphia. Sometimes coaches will pull the goalie just to try and get momentum, change goalies to get momentum, but I think Philadelphia's defense has been playing reasonably well. They've been very physical. They've been out. They haven't done a great job of being in lanes.
Pops into the back of the net for Philly. They tack on a second here in the second quarter. Mitch Desnew on the board for Philadelphia.
A really kind of inconspicuous goal as Mitch Desnew scores while falling down. Taking a look at this replay, we see him with a nice pick and he gets open in the middle. And just a nice low-to-low shot as he gets kind of pushed. And we see it hit that far pipe behind Dobson. Go ahead, sorry.
Had a good day against Ottawa, 12 loose balls, but what were you saying about Mitch?
I was going to say Mitch Desnew, one of 3 players acquired by Philly at the trade deadline, looking to really bolster their defensive unit. And here we see him with some offensive production, which they need now that Mitch Jones is out.
It's a good addition to this Wings team. Philly team without Mitch Jones. They lost him very early. If you're just joining us, exactly 1 minute into this game, he picked up an instigator penalty after initiating a fight. His Philly step down shot and a ripper to follow it up. Dalton Young, the righty out of Chantilly, Virginia. 6-3 now. And excuse me, that's Messenger.
Yeah, as we see Messenger, he's carrying it just across, he just carries it across the floor and no one really steps out. And that was a great rip. I'm not really sure. Messenger, again, a defensive guy. When you have a lefty out as an offense, you need guys to step up, especially because I think Philly only has 3 listed lefties on offense. So the defensive players who do shoot lefty are going to take turns bumping up there, and we see Messenger just carry the ball across, no one stepping up to guard him, and he just buries it on a beautiful shot.
Got 27 with the goal there. Eccleston in front, Jackson, the twister didn't go.
Jackson was wide open in front there. Philly's got to look behind them.
In transition for Philly, Burns on the far side boards, battles for it. Shot clock gets going now. O'Neal. Step down, the rookie. Brennan O'Neal pulls it within 2, and now Philly finally turns it on.
And this is the Philadelphia that I've been expecting to see. I've been really looking forward to this game for a while. Just looking forward to seeing both Brennan O'Neal as well as just all the offensive weapons that Philly have. And here, again, I feel like the Swarm are not respecting the shooters on Philly in the last couple of shots, really, just because they've had somewhat open looks. Now, they've been somewhat far out, but I would think Brendan O'Neill, a guy who does have a rocket, is someone that you really need to step out on and make sure that he doesn't get an open look.
I love that graphic. You just saw the top 2 rookie scorers, Dyson Williams and Brendan O'Neill. Well, they're both first overall picks. They were also both on the same exact college attack last year on the attack unit for Duke. Former teammates and now budding stars. Shot goes wide for Philly. There's Young, has to drop it. And we will take a break. It's a different game now. It was 6-1. Well, now Philly's battling back. We got a 2-goal game.
We're here to sweat the details, to test and retest. Because when you're known for speed and reliability inside, you need to deliver speed and reliability outside, in all kinds of weather, all year round. Because if it can handle all of this, it can definitely handle this. Introducing Eero Outdoor 7. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Philly has battled back. It was all Georgia. Now the Wings make it a 2-goal game. Don't miss any of the action this season. Head to NLL.com/tickets. Get yourself front row seats to your favorite NLL team. All the big hits, highlight reel goals, star-studded matchups. That's NLL.com/tickets. So Georgia led 6-1, but now it's a 3-goal run for Philly. Here's Lyle Thompson pushing inside and dunks it. Back to a 3-goal lead for the Swarm, and Lyle Thompson gets a second.
Great job here by Lyle Thompson. He gets the ball. He's so athletic. He's so hard to guard. As he starts going downhill, Philly kind of commits a pretty cardinal sin, if you will, as they kind of vacate that low area. So when you have a player like Lyle Thompson, you have to expect to lose the one-on-one matchup somewhat often in box lacrosse. You don't have a long pole. It's hard to guard him. You always have to have a slide ready, and there's no slide. Lyle gets to go right to the net, and again, gets to bury it from right on top of the crease.
He's been the MVP of pretty much every league he's ever played in. Tackman of the Year in the PLL. Corner obliterated by Joe Resiteris. Coming from the top. We're back to a 2-goal game here in Duluth.
And a great season so far from Resiteris, as he just drives high with a beautiful low to high shot on the run. And again, earlier this year becoming the all-time leading American-born goal scorer in the NLL, taking that mantle from Casey Powell.
Plenty of great American players playing in this game. You've said it, your time playing, and when you were growing up, Philly was kind of that American team.
Yeah, they've always had just different American talent. Johnny Christmas, they've had.
Another good chance there, goes wide.
Ned Crotty's played on that team, former Tewarton winner again at Duke.
Shot clock violation. Rannigan can pick it up now for Georgia.
But that's just some of the few that they've had. They've always been one of the teams that have focused on American talent. And they're also a team that's historically been very good, especially in the early days of the NLL.
Goes high there on a ripper from Cole. Michael Sowers also on the Philly roster. He is an American-born player as well, coming out of Pennsylvania, and was signed by his hometown Philadelphia Water Dogs of the PLL and the Wings of the NLL. He played last year with Williams and O'Neill at Duke after a career at Princeton. Bounce shot goes wide from LeClaire. Young's deep ripper goes into the gut of Dobson. Picks up another save. 7:20 left to go in the second quarter. For the first quarter, Georgia was dominant. It was 5-1. Since then, 4-2 in favor of Philly. That one saved by Knott, who came in for Damoud. He started, and Philly's been really good since that change. In transition, Dobson, the rebound! Malcolm scores for Philly. And we got a one-goal game in Georgia once again.
So this is the second goal of this game where Georgia doesn't do a great job of controlling the rebound. Now, that's a lot easier said than done, but here we see a transition opportunity. The first save is made, and that rebound is picked up and buried by Malcolm. Hockey, basketball, it's a lot easier to control that rebound, whether it's boxing out or just pushing guys out of the way, as we see a challenge flag here from the Georgia bench.
There was a red challenge flag thrown by Georgia. They want to take a look at that last goal coming from Tony Malcolm out of New Westminster, BC. Played his college lacrosse in the South, went to Mars Hill. She's in Mars Hill, North Carolina.
Georgia is challenging the previous play of a good goal. Players under review.
So Georgia wants to get a look at that. We will too. Try to get you the best looks at it, but Eddie Camoa and company think that they could get this one off the board. As of now, it was a good goal on the floor. It is a one-goal game. This would be the score. Here's the look from above. They're looking at non-shooter interference.
Okay, so I see it. So they're looking to see if the player who was at the top of the screen, right there, the top right, does he step out of the crease before Malcolm scores?
So you're trying to look at the bottom of your screen, see this player.
Top of the screen, sorry.
Excuse me, top of the screen is what Drew was mentioning. So that player right on the top right corner when this ball scored, seeing where he is when this ball crosses the goal line and is a good goal. So see, he's in the crease right here. There's the turn. And is he out in time? That's pretty close. It's tough to see with the white too.
It is. Philly with all white gloves. And I think that was Phil Caputo who had taken that shot on the transition opportunity. And then we see number 4, Tony Malcolm, pick the ball up. And so right there, it looks like his feet are in the air, but I think Caputo needs to get out of the crease to establish that position, which I don't think he does. We'll have to wait for the officials on their call. But that's what we're looking to see. We're looking to see if Caputo gets out of the crease in time. And we see him jump to make sure that he, evacuates that crease area.
And you just saw his reaction on screen because he looked up and is seeing it on the video board. And he doesn't seem to understand because based on another angle from what you're seeing, he was in the air as he's floating backwards, you see right there. Which if he was, likely be a good goal. So here it is. So there you'll see Caputo. He's in the air backing up. It's a good look.
After review, it is determined that the non-shooter doesn't fully establish outside the crease after, we have no goal.
So it's like you said, did not fully establish. He jumped up and was elevated, was out of the crease, but did not establish yet.
Right, I was gonna say, so in my estimation, this is gonna get called back because we see that he is in the air as the ball crosses the line, but he hasn't established himself outside of the crease, so he doesn't do that until after the ball's in the net. So based on that, I was expecting it to get turned over, but we could only see that from that one vantage point and just wanted to make sure the refs were seeing the same thing.
Tough to see from where we were. The game in Halifax is over, so Halifax picks up a win. They won 13-9 over San Diego, so that creates a little bit more split from the top three teams, with Halifax being in third behind Buffalo and Saskatchewan. Thompson moves it. Jackson bobbles the loose ball. Takes a hit. Good double team from Philly as they move it now on a breakout. There's Alex Pace out of St. Catharines, Ontario. Clears it, moves on, now on the forecheck. Brennan O'Neill, he's got one. Young back for O'Neill. Blaze Reardon, the goalie in the field game. Thompson squeaks through and Philly scores. A snail's roll past the goal line. Young gets it for the Wings.
You see offensive coordinator Tracy Koluski talking to Blaze Reardon there as we take a look back at the replay. Just a simple swing to a shot. Dobson gets a piece of it, and he knows it's squeaking behind him, and none of the Swarm players can pick it up before it goes in the net. As we now have a goaltending change here for the Swarm.
So Angus Goodleaf comes in.
I think that also might have been Rezateris on the goal.
I think it was Joe Rezateris on that goal. It's from the same spot Young was. I just really want to give Young a goal. Like, just really want him to score. That's what it seems to be.
Just trying to manifest it, huh?
I guess so. Here's O'Neill now. Swim move. Shot gets deflected. Goodleaf picks up his first save since coming in for Dobson. Benedict coming from the box, gives it up top now for Jackson. Saved by Knott. Both backup goalies are in this game right now. Saved by Goodleaf. Hickey battling in the corner. Chris Corbeil's been all over the floor. Transition player for Philly. Backhand, Jackson off the top of Knott. Philly with numbers. On a rush, 3-on-2, now 4-on-3. No angle. Wings got to pull out. Moved on, Mike McCannell out of Orangetown, Ontario, plays for the Orangeville Rock. Rissaterritz spinning away, Reardon, the lefty. Shoots, 5-hole, he scores! It's tied up. 7-7 with 4:01 to go in the half.
Captain Blaze Reardon with his 18th goal this season. The goaltender at the University of Albany and the goaltender for the Chaos in the PLL shows what he can do when he's put on that offensive side on the floor. That's a really nice shot. He does a great job of kind of disguising it. That was a hard release to judge, and it makes sense that a goaltender knows how to disguise the shot pretty well.
When you're talking about him as one of the best American box players ever, you're thinking, oh, well, he's one of the best field goalies ever. He must be a goalie. No, he's a forward. All about scoring goals on that end of things. O'Neal, twister in front. The defense of Georgia was ready. McIntosh. Been with the Swarm since 2012. He goes off. Eccleston. Backhand for Andrew Q. Lyle Thompson. Back down low for Cole. Cole started, and he's got another. The hat-trick goal for Brian Cole.
Cole with the hat trick on a beautiful rip from the outside. As we take a look at the replay here, we have Q going in and kind of setting kind of a seal pick. I'm not really sure what the communication is on Philadelphia, but Desnu is slow to come up to guard Cole, and as Cole comes up, he just has a wide open lane, and Cole, a great offensive shooter, just buries it. So maybe some miscommunication on Philly, just not stepping out, but Q goes in and kind of sets, I'm not sure if he was setting a seal or a pick, because I don't know who that defensive player was guarding, but no one steps out to take Cole.
First quarter and second quarter have been very different for both these teams. 5 goals in the first for Georgia. They've had 3 since. 1 goal in the first for Philly. They have had 6 here in the second. There's the step down. Young gets hit off of Rannigan. And a whistle. When we come back, Georgia will have the ball on their end. Philly will not go down easy. It's a 1-goal game in Georgia as they fight for playoff life.
Thank you to all these companies. And fans, don't forget to scan the QR code to see all the dash auction giveaways and bid on the players' marble jerseys auctioned in tomorrow at noon. Elevated Lacrosse Academy with locations in Suwannee and Duluth offers top-tier indoor lacrosse training through small group classes, private lessons, team sessions, and pro player clinics. Taught by professional coaches with 10-plus years of experience, Elevate provides memberships, packages, and ongoing specials. Mention this ad to try out free class and train when pros train.
Got a 1-goal game so far in Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. The Wings have owned this second quarter, the second 15 minutes of play. It's been 6-3 in favor of Philly. Lyle Thompson pushing upfield, working with Cole and Q. Jackson. There's Bomberry, the fifth member of the offensive unit. And it'll be a power play coming for Philly. Lyle Thompson is going to head to the box.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been a little bit of pushing and shoving as we listen in for the official call.
Georgia penalty number 4, 2 minutes, illegal cross check.
So an illegal cross check. Again, probably just trying to establish position. We're going to take a look here as we see Lyle. He's right in the middle and, gets him a little high. Gets him in the neck area. So an illegal cross check call.
Early save here for Goodleaf. Both backup goalies are in this game right now for each team. Gus Goodleaf now in cage. See the special teams numbers for both these teams. Hanging around 50%, about as 50-50 as you're gonna get for these two teams. Deacon Knott from Curve Lake, Ontario. Now in net. Georgia had to throw it on late in the shot clock. Doesn't go. Philly can pick it back up with 1:10 on the power play. Both specialty units are good for Philly, but not tonight. 0 for 2. O'Neal. Terrence. One more, shooting high. LeClaire back in front. BTB. Goodleaf makes the save and grabs the rebound.
So we'll see if McIntosh slows it down. He does. Most offensive units have 2 power plays, a strong lefty look and a strong righty look. With Mitch Jones gone, the strong lefty look is out of the picture since they don't have a 4th lefty. This has a number of consequences. One being he's their leading scorer, so the biggest threat on Philadelphia is not in the game, as we do have a whistle. And I believe it's a timeout here from Philly. But to continue, so Mitch Jones, their leading scorer, is no longer on the floor. The strong lefty look also can't happen, which means Philadelphia has to go strong righty. And as a defensive unit, as a penalty kill, you generally have a loose idea of what you want to do versus strong lefty and strong righty. It allows Georgia to focus only on that strong righty look and only on who they deem as the biggest threat on the floor.
With some other games going on, let's look at the standings as they've been updated. So you see Halifax gets up a game on Vancouver at 10-6. Rochester is currently in play against Ottawa. They can clinch a playoff berth with a win against Ottawa, and San Diego lost to Halifax, which already happened. Halifax would need a Rochester loss against Ottawa to clinch, or a Colorado loss against Buffalo. So a lot of different scenarios in play right now. Philly, the one that's important to this game is Philly needs to win to have any chance at the playoffs. NLLstats.com, a website that a lot of the broadcasters and media members use to track the league. They had Philly at a 0.37% chance of making the playoffs. Georgia is at 79. Still on the power play for the next 10 seconds. Reardon. O'Neal. Step down. Fire. Saved by Goodleaf. In transition. Georgia all alone. Cole couldn't finish. Immediately on the other end is Philly, but Henrik grabs it. And a timeout this time for the Georgia Swarm with 11 seconds left. And if you notice the jerseys of the Swarm, not the typical ones. Tiro night in Duluth here at Gas South, so wearing the Spider-Man jerseys. We've seen some different superhero jerseys around the NLL. They all look pretty good, but Georgia, they got the Spider-Man ones tonight.
Yeah, theirs is a little bit more subtle than most.
Yeah, there have been some loud ones throughout the season, but different superheroes spotted all around. You see the Flash there, some DC, some Marvel. There's Marvel on the jerseys, but doesn't matter.
So really quickly, there's 12 seconds left. There was a timeout. It's a one-goal game. The Swarm are using their timeout to try and pull that goalie and try and get 2 goals back up. So whenever you're under 30 and there's a whistle and you have your timeout, you're generally going to take it so that you can draw up a 6-on-5 play, as we see here.
Lyle Thompson back on the floor. Going quick. Spin it. Q shoots it, saved. Not. Shot to the other end, doesn't get there. And at the end of the first half, Georgia in a situation they are all too familiar with. It's a 1-goal game for the Swarm and the Wings. The first quarter was Georgia. An offensive fire to start, but Philly quickly answered to extinguish Joe Resenteris and the Wings, making it close. 8-7 here at the break.
The NLL is the next major league in sports, showcasing some of the greatest athletes in the world and a game day experience that is perfect for all ages. Go to your favorite team's website or visit NLL.com/tickets and experience the excitement for yourself today.
This is your life without Eero.
Oh, come on.
The Wi-Fi's out again.
This is the worst.
Not now.
And this is your life with Eero.
Oh, come on.
Why would you do this to us?
This is the worst.
We can't improve everything in your life, but we can improve your Wi-Fi. It's fast, reliable, and now available outside your home. Eero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
The NLL's March to May is here. 14 teams fight for 8 playoff spots. The march continues now through April 19th.
Welcome back to Gas South Arena in Duluth, Georgia. It's halftime between the Wings and the Swarm. The March to May is heating up and the games are getting better and better. With bigger games comes bigger highlights. Let's take a look at the top plays of the week 18.
Haas comes out to guard those two were teammates last year in Fort Worth. Lee diving goal. Oh my goodness, Ryan Lee goes under the bar.
Who goes horizontal and puts it over the shoulder.
It was 81% his first year with Philadelphia.
Taggart Clark stumbles back to his feet, now to the net, he puts it home! A great effort by Taggart Clark. They were looking at this guy right here.
Looks like Kiernan's got the ball. O'Connor takes the shot from outside. There it is.
You see, David is looking all the way to his left, like this off. It is not. It is O'Connor with that long shot.
Really pushed the ball the last few and have gotten nothing from it.
Thompson across the top.
And just does a great job of pushing through, fighting through that check, diving the net.
10 on the shot clock. He'll let that fly from outside. Lee's got the rebound. Big save, Chiliano. Rebound call, Crime Stoppers!
Throwing everything he had to stop that ball. My goodness.
And coming up after these messages, Drew and I will break down the first half of play. You're watching the NLL on ESPN+. Little police department, fire department lacrosse in Georgia. Always a friendly rivalry, but some entertainment here at the half. An 8-7 game, Georgia taking on Philly. Welcome here into the booth. Nick Kloss, Drew Petkoff here with you. And it was a close one, 8-7. We always talk about the parity in this league. And Drew, right now we are seeing it. Philly, they took the second quarter.
Yeah, they had a very slow start, a very rough start. Georgia came out to a big lead, but Philly found ways to claw back into this game, and all credit to them. They've been scrappy all game, and they've been doing some good hard work.
Yeah, we've heard it all season long. This offense for Philly could get going, and when they do, they're really, really good. Well, they've looked good at times here against Georgia. Here's some of those goals, Drew, from the second.
Yeah, again, Philadelphia did a great job of just kind of clawing and scraping their way back into this game. And at one point, after being down by, I believe, as many as 5, they tied it up at 7 apiece.
And for Georgia, it started with Brian Cole. That got things going for this Georgia offense early on.
Yeah, Cole, one of their 3 lefties that have been having great seasons so far. And here we see his latest goal, just a beautiful snipe from the outside. I said it was tied up 7-7. I believe it was that Brian Cole snipe that made it 8-7 for Georgia.
Looking at those first half stats, shots on target have been for Philly. Face-offs 15-2. We saw this for Georgia against Halifax as well. Eddie Camo says he does not care. He does not think that's where the game is won. Loose balls heavily in favor there of Philly.
Yeah, the loose balls and the face-offs won, that should kind of correlate. So we see almost 15 extra face-offs won. We see almost the same in loose balls. So that makes sense. If you take those away, loose balls are relatively even. When I played for Toronto and start my career in 2010, we didn't have a true face-off guy. Not every team does, and some teams are willing to just scrape away. We had Stephen Hoare, Sandy Chapman take face-offs for us, and we just looked to grind teams out and go back, play defense, get that first stop, and then hope to get the offense going. So again, it's a strategy that a lot of teams have used throughout the years. I'm used to teams that have used that strategy as well, and if you have a lights-out face-off guy who's going to win a majority, I think it makes sense to go with them. But if you don't have a guy who's winning 65s to 70 plus, then going by committee is not a bad idea.
Eddie Camo, coming from the Les Bartley coaching tree, comes from that tradition. The band's getting loud in Georgia. The Swarm up 8-7 here at the half. Third quarter action coming up.
One minute remaining. 1 minute. That's into the ball game. Your final score of 5-7. PD 4. Let's get up both these teams. Congratulations to Fire.
8-7 here at the half. Georgia up on Philly right now as both teams hit the floor once again. There's a lot of NLL action this weekend as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. Here's what happened and what is happening in Week 19. Calgary got Saskatchewan, and then 10-4. Vancouver's been playing great. They picked up Christian Del Bianco. Halifax got the win, which sets up Rochester very nicely. They needed a San Diego loss for Rochester to get a playoff spot with a win. They right now are playing a 7-8 Ottawa team that's also desperate for a win, but they're looking to pick up win number 6 in a row, as Rochester actually just made that one 9-3 right now. Buffalo and Colorado, a game to look at as well, as we're gonna take a look at that Rochester game where they just scored to make it 9-3. It's 4-on-4 there. Jeff Teat has been surging once again. This Connor Fields-led Rochester team tries to clinch a playoff spot officially. Right now, Saskatchewan and Buffalo are the only two teams that have done that so far. So they can get it with a win. You see it there on their score graphic, with Rochester having the home game against Ottawa here tonight. Philly back on the floor here in Duluth, Georgia, with Nick Roulette and Jordan McIntosh at the dot to face off. And what's a one-goal game here? Ottawa been part of 2 bigger wins or bigger score difference games. This time they're on the wrong end of that one.
Can we get crazy loud? Oh, I know you can. I know you can.
Coach Rubel and the Wings, they need a win. Debatably more than anyone else in the National Lacrosse League. They needed a win here, and they need one to even hope that the playoffs are still in their future. They started the year 5-2. They have lost 8 straight, still trying to snap that streak. Quickly on the offensive end, winning faceoff number 16 is Nick Roulette. Played in his first game last game. Young steps in the crease, gives the ball to Georgia.
Yeah, not a great start to the half, but a better one than the start to the game, as the game started with Philadelphia having too many players on the floor. Georgia scoring on the ensuing power play, so already off to a better start from Philly.
Also, Albany would be eliminated with a would have been eliminated with a San Diego win and a Georgia win. So now that San Diego lost to Halifax, Albany is safe. Both those things cannot happen together anymore. It's a fun time of the year, or an interesting time of the year. You have to take all of the different scenarios. There's so much that could happen. That's saved by Goodleaf. Both goalies were swapped in that first half to start on both sides. Brett Dobson started. He's now back in goal, so he picked up that save. Got a rest. Goodleaf got in as Philly kicks things off. Terrence. Who else ties things up? It's 8-8.
Terrence with another goal coming off the bench, I believe. One of the hard things to do is picking up that guy coming off the bench, trying to figure out who's going to guard him. And we see almost a double team, or 2 guys maybe sliding towards that ball. As Joe Terrence, we don't see him yet. There he is coming late on his offside, cuts a little bit to the middle, and does a great job of, again, just not really many people guarding him, but he does a great job of shooting low to low and getting past Dobson.
Clock. As we are all tied up 8-8. Had a 13-point game earlier this season. It's the most anyone's had in a game in the 2024-25 NLL season. Held off, Liam Burns decides not to push it. Dobson heads to the bench, a delayed penalty. Georgia could be on the power play if they don't find the back of the net. They still have it. Jackson for Q. On the back door, Thompson misses Bomberry, skip pass, Q, step down, shot, bounces it home. They're saying no goal. The shot clock was near the end, immediately called off. Boos rained down from Sting City. Let's get the call here.
We have no goal. Shot clock violation. We also have 2 minutes legal substitution on Philly, served by the in-home.
So that is another illegal substitution on Philadelphia. That is their second of the game. and it was a no-goal call coming from Georgia. So Q does not get that one. It is 9-8 for Georgia over Philly. Here's another look. Not cross.
CPA or scan the QR code to learn more.
All right, Georgia Swarm fans, it's time for the Georgia Lottery Dance Payout, where tonight's winner is going home with season tickets for next year's Swarm season. If you want free tickets, get on your feet and shake it. DJ, drop that beat. Yeah, who wants those season tickets? Who's coming to dance next season? Who wants to move?
8-8 in the third quarter. It's another close one from Duluth. Be sure to head to NLL.com/pick'em to vote for the connection of the month presented by Eero today. One lucky winner will be selected to win a prize valued at $700. NLL Pick'em is the way to get involved with weekly and monthly prizes. Everyone has a chance to win. Play today at NLL.com/pick'em. And it squeezes through for Georgia. They didn't get that last one. It was no goal, but they quickly add on the ninth to make it 9-8. Ball don't lie.
And it was Q on the disallowed goal, and it's Q coming back, getting his second of the game. So we just have normal ball movement, working around with behind-the-back pass. And the left shooter, Q, the defender in that area, the defense is obviously going to be in a box as zone defense. He gets sucked out pretty far. Now, whenever I'm coaching a box, I like the actually offside defensive player to maybe swing over if that lefty shooter position, if he's going to go up and guard the front.
Nice move by McIntosh for Mike Manley. The McIntosh-Manley connection gives Georgia a 2-goal lead, 10-8 at Cass South.
Manley with his second of the year, and he is fired up. Great job by McIntosh on this face-off. And I think Philadelphia is used to winning them all. They didn't expect any of that to happen.
How about that for you? You're a former hockey guy. This is just puck handling to get it free for himself.
Yeah, nice little dangle.
And then the finish for Mike Manley. Two guys who are in ways unsung heroes for the Georgia Swarm. Manley and McIntosh, the leaders in blocked shots and caused turnovers for the Swarm. Doing the dirty work on the defensive end and now getting the love on offense. 10-8, Q's shot saved by Knott. He came in relief of Damoud after the first quarter, where it was 5-1 Georgia. Here's Philly with Young. Brennan O'Neill played at St. Anthony's. He crosses the cage into the bench, and Georgia will grab it for a restart. Van Scheppen scored last game, does it again! Makes some noise. Gas South, 3-goal lead now for the Swarm with 8:17 to go in the third quarter. Van Scheppen, the snipe.
The momentum this game has been back and forth. as it shifts back to the Swarm here with a beautiful far side rip by Van Scheppen. Nothing much to say. Oh. Nothing much to say about the goal. Nice, nice snipe by Van Scheppen, as we do have a timeout from Philly. One of the things that I wanted to say on the power play goal from Q, that's become his spot on the floor to score, I feel like. That kind of mid-high left shooter or going across the top. Philly and other teams need to do a better job of respecting him on that shot, because he scored at least 2 in overtime from that spot. He scored tonight from that spot. He scored the goal that got called back more from the middle, but still, he's this mid-range shooter that I feel like teams aren't giving enough respect to.
Andrew Q out of Tampa, played D2 lacrosse and set records early as his freshman year. He's a day 1 starter in college, played for Mimico in juniors, and tied for the team lead, 87 points last year with Lyle Thompson. And now being coined a clutch king for the game winners he's provided this year, and extending Georgia to a 3-goal lead now, up 11-8, under 8 minutes to play. Snagged out of midair. Adam Wiedemann with the interception for Thompson, coming from the box. Nice save, not shouldered away.
Eight-second violation.
Thompson quickly saved by Knott. So the 8-second violation, as Drew just said, almost gives Georgia another. And now Philly with Malcolm, who pulls it out at a New Westminster, British Columbia. Philly with a lot of Americans on the roster, but also a lot of Americans from the Mid-Atlantic. 4 different players from the DMV, Maryland, Virginia. Here's another break. Capito fires high. Georgia looking to push in transition right now. Joey Capito, their addition from Colorado this past offseason. Great transition player. Had to play a little bit more defensive-minded. There's the save from Dobson. Outlet. Rannigan receives. Good cutoff. Falling in front. No good again. Georgia continues to push the pace.
Yeah, a lot of fast action here. Georgia definitely looking for transition right now. And a great job of Philadelphia of at least challenging them in most of these transition opportunities.
Terrence. O'Neal through traffic. The twister shot bounces high.
Oh, they're saying it was deflected. So they're going to give the ball back to Philly. I love watching Brennan O'Neal. He reminds me a little bit of John Grant Jr., famous Canadian lefty. But he's got a little bit of a different style, but he's just so good with his stick and finding different shooting lanes.
Here he is. A wizard with the stick as he draws a penalty. And looks like we're gonna have a cross-check, excuse me. And that's Mike Manley making his way to the box. Here's the official call.
Georgia penalty number 5, 2 minutes, illegal cross-check.
So the cross-check going against Manley. He'll sit down in the sin bin for 2 minutes as Philly
2 minutes for cross-check.
gets to work on the power play.
Some Duke on Duke and Denver outlaw on outlaw violence there.
I think it's ACC Freshman of the Year, ACC Freshman of the Year violence too. Manley was back in 07, though. A little more recent for Brendan O'Neill. Scrapes off of the defender. Wiedemann sitting in front with McIntosh Henrik, and actually that's McIntosh Capito out there on the kill right now. Terrence goes for Reardon, right back, quick stick goes wide. Snagged out of midair. Nice play by Cole.
I want to highlight
it on both ends.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable snag, and I want to highlight Jordan McIntosh, who was the player on the low right part of the screen, or the back left low part of the screen. He is doing a great job. He soaked that first shot. As Lyle almost sneaks one in. But he soaked that first shot, and if you see him back on the crease, which I believe I see him out there now. Oh, no, never mind. But he was doing a great job of getting big on that crease, looking to block shots and looking to get in shooting lanes. And again, as a box coach, you need that from your players. You need players that are willing to step into lanes to block shots. And Jordan McIntosh blocked one and did a great job of trying to block more.
Here's the bounce. And Shepin could not get to it, so Philly takes it right back. 10 seconds now to go on the power play. Manley awaiting his release. And I did confirm it. Manley, 2007 ACC Freshman of the Year for Duke. O'Neill, that one goes out. Messenger with the shot. He did it in 2021. 14-year difference. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Young. Shoved to the ground. Wiedemann picks it up. Him and Manley combined for the takeaway.
Really good kill from the Swarm, and again, props to Jordan McIntosh on blocking that shot and staying big, because it also, just by being big, makes the offensive players change where they want to shoot or think twice about shooting.
Benedict keeps it, gets it for Jackson. Jackson fakes out a few. Brought down Eccleston, calling for something off ball, but a whistle comes to kill play. And we'll step aside with Georgia up 11-8 on Philly.
It's that time, Steve City. Pucker up for the Herald. You don't have to be
Looking at the breakdown there, all Georgia and then Philly started to fight 11-8 here in Duluth at Gas South Arena. Here are the upcoming schedules brought to you by Hotel Planner. Just two more, and the next one pretty familiar. These two teams will see each other again, but in Philly before Georgia comes back here to Gas South to take on the top team all season long in Buffalo. For Philadelphia, same thing, but they go home to play Georgia once again, and then finishing off their season out west in BC against Vancouver, a team currently hoping for a playoff spot. LeClaire gives it to O'Neill. O'Neill Pulls back, he's pushed off by Manley. They're guarded one-on-one. In front, falling into the crease, Resiteritz. And some shoving after, and it was actually Caputo who's down there with Manley. And Mike Manley's gonna get grabbed again, and he'll head right back to the box.
Georgia penalty number 5, 2 minutes illegal cross-check.
So another illegal cross-check. That is back-to-back similar penalties, or the exact same penalty for Mike Manley.
Yeah, Mike Manley, a very physical, aggressive defender, and I didn't see what was called on, like I didn't see the actual play, so just, I guess, a little too aggressive from him.
Georgia takes it back. Philly now on the power play, so Swarm will try to sit tight as long as they can. Adam Wiedemann with it. Battled with injury all season long. Him and Jeff Henrik, two key defenders for this Swarm team. It's now Andrew Q just plays keep away. Wiedemann battling with Davis Allen. Picks up the ground ball. Georgia's shot clock expires anyways, so 30 seconds they could kill, they do. Minute 10 now to go on the power play opportunity here for Philly, a team that is around 50%. O'Neal sits at the top of the key. He's got Resiteritz on his right. He steps down, bobbles the ball. O'Neal back down low, great save. Dobson coming across the crease.
So they do have a lefty look now, O'Neal being at the top. I don't believe they've shown us this yet this game, but again, they have no real good opportunities with a strong righty look, so I like this adjustment from Philly.
Got that top twister shot from O'Neal. 45 seconds to go in the third quarter. They got a reset off the toe save from Dobson. Here's Riordan. And O'Neal from the top. Snipes it past Dobson. Makes it 11-9 with 33 left in the third quarter.
And again, I think this was an adjustment that they just made, because I believe we've been seeing the strong righty look all game. But they swapped to the strong lefty, and I really like this for a number of reasons. I remember when I first started playing for the Swarm, I asked Coach Eddie Camo what he looks for in specifically the person playing the top of the power play, and he said it's got to be someone with a very good outside shot, but it's also got to be one of our best passers. And so our strong lefty was, I believe, Jesse King. Lyle with our strong righty. That could alternate with Randy Stotts, but having such a great outside shooter like O'Neal, it just makes sense to have him at the top.
10 seconds to go. It's 6-on-5. Dobson's on the bench. Georgia looking for one more. Q up top. His pass down low for Benedict. Doesn't connect. Still free. And third quarter, horn goes. So Georgia cannot get anything to go with the empty net. And here at the end of the third quarter, the Swarm are up 11-9 on the wings. Georgia trying to better their playoff position. Philly fighting for any chance at the playoffs. Georgia up by 2.
We're here to sweat the details, to test and retest. Because when you're known for speed and reliability inside, You need to deliver speed and reliability outside, in all kinds of weather, all year round. Because if it can handle all of this, it can definitely handle this. Introducing Aero Outdoor 7. Aero, the way Wi-Fi should be.
Two-goal game, 11-9 on Hero Night at Gas South. And the next NLL Friday night on TSN is set. Vancouver visits Toronto at 8 Eastern. Don't miss a moment of that action on TSN, ESPN Plus, and NLL Plus. Toronto, a team that didn't start the season well, they can always do something. Here's Rochester, Ottawa score in the bottom left of your screen. Rochester up 12-6. They can clinch a playoff berth with that win. Looking pretty good right there for the Nighthawks. Face-off won by Philly to start this fourth quarter. Nick Roulette has owned that side of the game. Losing it there, Dobson, it gets scooped in. Caputo comes running on the free one, and Philly makes it a one-goal game just like that.
Real heads-up play from Caputo. I thought he was actually just going to bat it in, more of like a hockey shot. That's what I would have done, but I also don't have hands, so he picks the ball right up while basically mid-jump, or about to be jumping. That in and of itself is extremely difficult to do, to pick it up while you're in the motion of trying to jump, and to just get the ball around Dobson there. Great play from Caputo.
No challenge, good goal. Crazy by Caputo to scoop that up in mid-air, basically all in one motion. Scoop while in air and shoot. Gets the goal. It's a one-goal game, which is something I feel like, Drew, we've said a lot.
Definitely over the course of the season. And it's something I wouldn't have expected the first 5 minutes of this game.
5-4 are the Georgia Swarm in one-goal games. They had their last one against Halifax last week. That was an overtime winner. Andrew Q got in on it. It's Mike Manley playing keep away, and now Georgia back on the offensive end with fans getting on their feet. Foul off ball. Philly can get it on a quick restart. Here's Mitch DeSnew. Total 15 games on the season so far for both these squads, but 9 of them have been decided by just a single goal. They are 3-1 in OT, so it's fared well for them in those ones that require an extra period. 5 seconds on the shot clock. O'Neal's got to rip it. Dobson makes the save. He was pulled briefly during the second quarter. Angus Goodleaf came in. Dobson came back in. There was a switch on the other side as Knott makes a save. Demood started the game, and since then, Deacon Knott took over. Reardon plays for the Chaos in the PLL as a field goalie. Hickey, first to the ball for Georgia. Now Capito comes in, battling against Caputo for Philly. In the crease, Georgia takes it on the clear.
One thing I think that was interesting, Philadelphia has six goals, 1 goal in the first, 1 goal in the third.
Benedict streaking towards net, misses wide.
And they've scored the majority of their goals in what we call the long bench situation. So I'm wondering if something about the long bench situation, they're able to catch maybe Swarm sleeping defensively.
Rochester clinches the playoffs. They just beat Ottawa 12-6. So the third team to officially clinch in the National Lacrosse League this year is Rochester. And coming across, they're saying no goal. Reardon immediately looks to the bench. He wants a look. And that is what we are gonna get. Immediately gonna take a look at this one. We'll see what the officials are doing from their side.
We got conflicting calls between the lead official and single side official. The lead official had no goal, single side had a goal. Plays under automatic review.
So it is under review because of differing calls from officials. Now, if there's no decision or no confirmed review, as we get looks here, it'll go to the call made by the lead official, which is no goal. See him sweep across the front. Based on that angle, Drew, it seems like a good goal.
Yeah, my inclination is a good goal, just looking at it real quickly. On the very first angle, it looked like Blaze's toe was dragging on the floor a little bit, but we did see him get it up off the ground before he took that shot. So, like you said, if there's no consensus, even though we have one good goal, one no goal, it will go to the lead official's call, which is no goal.
So it is a very important call here. Obviously, if Philly scores, we got a very interesting game. Let's get a look at the standings now that a lot has changed with Georgia and Philly being one of the last games of the weekend. Now Halifax 10-6, Vancouver and Rochester both 9-7. Rochester has given themselves a playoff spot. Philadelphia, if they lose tonight, they will lose out on any chance of the playoffs. Georgia obviously trying to get tied up with Vancouver and Rochester. And the funny thing is, Drew, is any of those teams, Rochester, Vancouver, Georgia, even Halifax, they all are in situations where they could host, and there's still scenarios where some of them could miss.
Yeah, again, the league is just so tight this year. And earlier on, maybe first 5 games into the season, when Georgia looked like it was, you know, a top 3 or 4 team, and they still could be, Vancouver and Rochester both were teams that weren't looking so good. And they're probably the 2 hottest teams in the league as of late. So sometimes it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And Halifax has been a team surging. Rochester has been a team surging. Vancouver has been a team surging. And, oh, we have a nice little graphic here of the likelihood to make playoffs coming into this weekend. Philadelphia with just a 0.4% chance of making the playoffs. And again, that's something that I wouldn't have guessed 4, 5, 6 games into the season.
So Philly fans, you're seeing that. You got a shot. Right now, this game's still alive. And if the Wings can get a win here, there's still a shot. So they still look at this goal, seeing if it is a good goal. The officials are all done taking a look, so we're gonna get official word here. It was differing calls. The lead official said no goal. See if we got a tie game.
After review, we have conclusive evidence to overturn the call. We got a good goal. Shooter does not touch the crease before the ball crosses the line. Face off.
So they were able to confirm it's a good goal. Blaze Reardon picks up a huge one for Philly, and we're tied up 11-11.
And Philadelphia is fired up with that call.
One they needed and one they got. Second of the game in what's been more of a down year for Blaze Reardon, one of the best for the NLL, and we've already said it many times, one of the best American-born players there is.
Yeah, and Blaze is a guy who just loves lacrosse. So, I mean, he plays goalie outdoor in the PLL. He's the captain and a lefty offensive player indoor. Just an all-around amazing talent and a guy who loves the game. So again, I know that he's passionate about this Philadelphia Wings team and trying to get them to succeed. I know the coaches of the Philadelphia Wings are very passionate players or former players. And you know, this Wings team has a lot of heart, and we've been seeing it on display, again, especially in the second and fourth quarter. So something about this long bench has been working for them.
Philly takes the lead in Georgia. LeClaire makes it 12-11 Wings.
And here we have the first lead of the night for the Wings, established there by Sam LeClaire. As we take a look at this replay, this has been probably the fourth or fifth goal where I personally feel like the defenders are not getting out on the shooters quick enough, as we see, again, somewhat of an open shot, as I'm not sure if it's been miscommunication. It's been both teams. Right, earlier, again, at least one of Brian Cole's goals, that goal there, it seems like players are playing back and not challenging shooters, and they're not in shooting lanes. So I'm not really sure why there's not a better sense of urgency from both teams.
Bouncing wide, Reardon tracks it down. Georgia now on their heels, and a shot from outside. Resiteritz, you bad man.
And this crowd has just fallen silent, as it was jubilant earlier in the game when the Swarm were all over the Wings. And with this goal, Philly establishing a 2-goal lead after being down 5. Count it.
Just an unreal day for Joe Resiteritz. 10 points now for him. 4 goals, 6 assists. Tearing it up. I said it earlier, he had 13 points in a game earlier on this season. That was December 20th against Vegas, most scored in a game by a player this year. Now Georgia trailing by 2, and it squeaks through Dobson. Caputo adds on another. Philly cannot be stopped right now.
And we are going to get another goaltending change here. These situations are always very difficult for players and goaltenders because it's not usually one thing that's going wrong. It's usually a host of things. And again, on the earlier shot 2 goals ago now, I felt like there wasn't enough pressure on the shooter. On this particular play, to a certain extent, I feel like that might have been Wiedemann playing defense on Caputo. Felt like he was maybe having a little bit of a screen on Dobson, but at the same time, you do expect Dobson to make those saves. So there's plenty of blame to go around. The Swarm just have to play better as a unit. And again, Philadelphia is fired up, and Georgia needs to quell the Storm if they really want to come out with the win.
Miss there by Manley. There's still a lot of time, 9:43 to go in this game. Philly has all the momentum right now. Goodleaf gets a save. Now the crowd starting to get back into it for the Swarm. Hickey straight down, shot goes wide. Georgia not hitting the cage right now. Lyle Thompson gets on. Georgia in desperate need of a goal to give them some life.
Delayed penalty here from Philly.
Lyle Thompson has 2 on him. Shot clock expires. And a call going against the Wings. Georgia will have a power play on the other side. Davis Allen getting into it with Brendan Bomberry. Here's the call.
Philadelphia penalty number 94, 2 minutes, illegal cross-check. Media stoppage.
So it is a cross-check here going against Philly. 14-11, Wings up. (14-11). Looking at the quarter breakdown, the fourth has been all Philly right now. The NLL Box Out with Mackey and Coop. It's the league's newest podcast. Your home for player interviews, expert analysis, and all things NLL twice a week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. They have had Christian Del Bianco on recently. Great show for everything you need to know. Look in there, Philadelphia Wings. They have lost 8 straight games. Right now, they lead 14-11. They are fighting for what would be their first win in quite some time. Saved by Knott, picked up by the Wings. Desnu battling to get it out. He does on the other end and high. First lead for the Wings since March 15th. That was 3 games ago that Philly last had a chance to be ahead. Lyle Thompson wants to get back in it. Cuts the lead to 2, and Georgia with some life again.
So a great job from Lyle Thompson of finding a lane. Nothing special about this power play. And I'll throw it back to the penalty kill that Georgia had earlier, where I talked about Jordan McIntosh getting big and getting into shooting lanes. I'm not sure exactly who that defender was on Philadelphia, but I don't like the fact that he just stood on that kind of outside post. He didn't get big, he didn't get in the lane, and he just kind of left Lyle to go one-on-one with the goaltender. And you never want to leave that. You never want to leave Lyle one-on-one with your goalie. So a little bit of, again, I'm not sure if it's laziness. I'm not sure if they designed it that way, but I don't like what Philadelphia just did on that penalty kill.
In faceoffs, 24-6, something that some say not as big of a deal in this game. Reardon across the middle, diving goal. Philly increase the lead again, back to 3.
But I do like what Philly does on the offensive end and says, let's have Blaze Reardon take that ball to the net again.
Blaze Reardon with the goal for the wing.
Nice pick and roll play from Reardon and O'Neill. And again, somewhat of a cardinal sin in my opinion in sliding up. You talk about sliding uphill in both, mostly in field, but you're sliding uphill away from the net, away from the crease, and you're letting a player in behind you get towards the net, towards the crease. That's where they're the most dangerous. So again, a little bit of a miscommunication defensively, and I feel like both teams tonight have been off defensively.
Messenger pulls it out. Pushes into the midfield, O'Neill dodging. Double comes, Hickey was there. Too high, Georgia can go the other way. They cut it to 2, Philly right back to a 3-goal lead. Q saved by Knott. Q picks up the rebound. 7 minutes now to play in the fourth quarter. 5-1 start in the first. And then Philly picked up the pace. Fourth quarter, they have been dominant. 6-1 in that frame. Bounce shot doesn't go from Cole. Knott picks it up. Messenger moves it to the other side. Back for Reardon. He's had 2 diving across the crease today. Bounces wide. McIntosh will run it down for the Swarm. Gets it to Lyle Thompson. Open in front. Bomberry doesn't get it. Back Lyle. Short side. Misses. His brothers, Miles and Jeremy, the 2 healthy scratches for Georgia tonight. He's slow to get off, you see there. Seeing the possession game start to take a toll on Georgia. Most of the faceoffs have gone to Philly, so now they're playing make it, take it when they do score. And then when Georgia scores, they've been able to get it right back.
Oh, you can do better than that.
Here's Benedict for Q. Shane Jackson. Exploded in the first half. Bounce shot, he scores! Georgia needed it. Jackson delivers. Back to a 2-goal game.
Jackson with his 3rd of the game. A nice pick, and I've said this multiple times tonight. I don't think Jackson expected to be so wide open. Whoever switched to Jackson was extremely late on that switch, and so I think Jackson originally, after that pick was set, was looking for someone to dish the ball to, but he realized he had time. He realized he had nobody on him. And again, he is one of the most dangerous shooters on the floor whenever he's out there. So he's a guy that you can't slide late to.
Big possession here for Georgia to get it back. Under 5 minutes now. Q turns, has an opening. Doesn't go through, Knott keeps it out.
And I get a little fired up when I feel like defenses are sliding late or sliding sloppy. And it just feels like both teams' slides are off this game. So we do have a whistle. So that play is dead. But to finish my point, it's just been a sloppy defensive game in my opinion.
See if they can tighten things up defensively. It has been high scoring, 15-13. It was close, but Georgia couldn't get within 1. It's 15-13. Two-goal game in Georgia. It's 15-13. Philly up on the Swarm. Time now for tonight's assist of the game, brought to you by Eero, and it's Jordan McIntosh finding Lyle Thompson here for the transition goal early in this game. Thompson with 7 points today on the receiving end of the Eero assist of the game from Jordan McIntosh.
I thought McIntosh has had a great game overall. Like I said, he's got at least one shot block, if not two. He had that great play on the face-off to get the assist with Manley, and he had that assist there as well.
Here's Lyle Thompson. Georgia down by 2, high. It's on the back of the net. Philly can take it. And the NLL playoffs begin the weekend of April 24th. All games will be available on ESPN+, TSN+, and NLL+. It's the March to May. You don't want to miss it. April 24th, we get into playoff time. Shot gets blocked in front. Henrik fighting for it. Shot clock expires, so Georgia can take it back the other way. Right now, Lyle Thompson not off the floor. He's running it 2 ways.
Yeah, Lyle, a great athlete. Can play great defense as well as put the ball in the net, obviously. So he's a guy who doesn't mind running back and sharing some of that load defensively.
He's got 3 goals, 4 assists tonight, as does Shane Jackson, both with 7 points. Cole with 3 goals, 3 assists for 6. Q with 2 goals, 3 assists for 5. All those numbers, but all of those pale in comparison to Joe Resiteritz with 4 goals and 7 assists for 11 points. Just unreal tonight. O'Neal, his shot goes wide, bounces perfectly. Burns, he gets caught. The Philly transition defense was right on point.
Yeah, great job from Philly. As O'Neal was coming over the top, we had our first Philly player getting to the bench, so they were back in time and ready to stop that transition.
Q for Thompson. Shot off the shoulder of not out of play. Fresh 30 for Georgia. Keep it on this end. Game plan seems clear.
Yes, 2:30 left in this game.
In front, Cole couldn't twister it in. Desnu picks up the loose ball. Davis Allen reaches for it, does keep it with him.
So next possession that Georgia has, I'm going to expect Goodleaf to hustle to the bench. And he might not get back in because in the 4th quarter, being the long bench, sometimes it's too hard to put your goalie back in. They're going to get there too slow. So you just play 6-on-5. So we'll see what the Swarm does.
Goodleaf comes out and cuts that down. 1:45 left to go for Georgia. They're down by 2. Goodleaf heads to the bench to make it 6-on-5 for the Swarm. They don't want to go too soon. Bomberry takes his shot and goes wide. Thompson, his step down is blocked, pulled out. Lyle Thompson loses it once again, and there is a delayed penalty going against Philadelphia. A late power play coming for Georgia.
So again, this is huge because this allows Georgia to be up a man without having to pull their goalie. They did have a player first at the box. I'm going to listen in on the call before I continue.
Philadelphia, number 41, 2 minutes, check behind.
So they did have a player looking to head back, so Goodleaf probably wasn't going to get back into this game. And that's just a dangerous situation. That means Philadelphia can have an open net to shoot on. But now, again, they still have the man advantage, but they get to have Angus back in net.
This power play has been humming. 4 for 4 on the night. Shot saved by Knott. Cole couldn't squeak through. DeSnoo gets it on the outlet, and now Philly on the other end with 1:04 to go. They are on the kill, so they only have 4 players to Georgia's 5. They have 8 losses in a row.
Most NLL teams choose to let the short team run out the 30, and it looks like Georgia's kind of doing that here. I feel as though, again, they need to play with a little bit more urgency. They do call a timeout as they get the ball back, I believe. But typically, it's very difficult to actually double team and get the ball back at this level. So most teams, and it's kind of risky because if the double gets beat, which happens more frequently than you might think, you risk having a shorthanded goal scored against you. So a lot of teams opt to run the clock out, and I feel like Georgia should play with a little bit more urgency.
Looking at what happened last week, this Georgia team loves close games, and it was another 1-goal game. Overtime, Andrew Q picks up yet another game winner this season and wins it 13-12. Well, now the Swarm find themselves in a similar situation, actually more similar to the situation of their opponents in Halifax. They were down by 2 with under 30 seconds, and they got 2 quick goals.
Yeah, again, they went 6 on 5. They scored 1, kept the goalie out, won the faceoff, scored another one, and forced that OT. We had people leaving Gas South Arena here that stopped and all of a sudden said, oh my goodness, like the Swarm aren't going to win this. So
33 seconds on the clock. They're on the power play for the rest of the game if they do not score. Cole backdoor for Jackson, doesn't click. Q, step down, saved by Knott, wraps around. 20 seconds now, they need it quick. Thompson, Q, quick stick, what a save by Knott coming across. May have just netted the win, goes for the goal, but doesn't. 7 seconds, Q for Cole. He shoots, it's saved again, and Philly is going to pick up their first win, snapping the 8-game losing streak. They're back in the win column for the first time since January 20th.
And a great scrappy effort from Philly, doing it without their leading goal scorer since the first minute, I believe. He gets kicked out of the game. Philly's down a man, and they just battle, and they dominate the second and fourth quarters to win the game. A little bit uncanny considering I felt like it was Georgia last week who won that transition battle, as we saw Shane Jackson come off the bench time and time again, scoring in transition. Here, we see Philadelphia winning that second and fourth quarter. And it felt like the Swarm didn't have an answer, and maybe there was no urgency after their initial surge to get ahead 6-1. So again, I thought it was a sloppy defensive effort from both teams, quite frankly. And I can't really put a point on what made the difference. It just felt like maybe Philly was a bit scrappier. I'm not really sure.
So Georgia, they now go to 8-8 and put themselves just above the line at the moment in the playoff picture. And for Philadelphia, they had a 0.4% chance of making the playoffs tonight. It would drop to 0 if they lost. Well, they won. So you're still alive, Philly fans, and that's all that matters right now. With that win, they did what they had to do for the night, and it was a career night for Joe Resiteris, who was just unreal. And I say a career night. He did have 13 in the game this season, but he had 11 tonight. Did a great job, 4 goals, 7 assists. We had a lot of star power throughout this whole game. You look at the Swarm side, 2 players getting 7 points. But it was Joe Resiteris who was the star of the show. And Joe, you got us down there?
Yeah, I got it. We're good.
So Joe, coming out of this game, just what do you got to say about the performance from your team tonight, picking up that win?
You know, it just shows you what we really have in that locker room, right? I mean, the last 8 games, right? We've got no bounces, right? A lot of lacrosse that wasn't going our way. But it shows you the group, right? You know, we stuck together through it, right? And, you know, when we just play relaxed and, you know, stick to the principles and play hard, man, it shows you what can happen.
So, Joe, Mitch Jones got kicked out early for kind of answering the bell on the big hit on O'Neill. Did you guys feel like you wanted to play a little bit harder for Mitch, for Brennan, for Blaze after he scored that diving goal? Was this a real kind of get-together type game for the boys?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, Jonesy's one of the best leaders out there, right? I mean, he wears his heart on his sleeve, right? It showed in that moment right there. And, you know, it's unfortunate we didn't have him, you know, that he got tossed for that. But I guess that's the rule. But, you know, that got us going. And, you know, if there's a guy who should get a game ball for that, it's him, you know, for setting that spark and, you know, getting the boys riled up.
And, Joe, what does this team got to do to keep momentum going and keep picking up wins?
Just keep building. I mean, we had fun tonight. And, you know, we went down early again. That's been a kind of what's been happening to us. But we stuck with it. You know, we weren't yelling on the bench. You know, we weren't down on ourselves at all, and we just had fun and played, and that's the message we're trying to go with the rest of the season here.
Well, thanks, Joe. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
Joe Resiteris gets a huge night, 11 points as they take down Georgia on the road. Our final score, 15-13. Tonight's game was produced and directed by Joel Kate. This has been a National Lacrosse League presentation in association with Freedom Broadcast Studios. The coordinating producer for the NLL, Scott Telatoro. Manager of broadcast, Mike Pettit. Senior Vice President of NLL Broadcast Operations, Ed Durst. Executive producer, Joel Feld. Thanks for watching. For Drew Petkoff, I'm Nick Kloss. Good night from Duluth.
Phil Caputo with a goal for the Wings. Dumpster. Phil Caputo with a goal for the Wings. Loose ball picked up by Jordan McIntosh. Here we go. Loose ball picked up by Jordan McIntosh. Here we go. Is due for the goal for the Wings. Mitch is due for the goal for the Wings. Is due for the goal for the Wings. Dumpster. Evan Messing for the goal for the Wings. Dumpster. Evan Messing for the goal for the Wings. Brennan O'Neill for the goal for the Wings. Brennan O'Neill for the goal for the Wings. Joe Terrace with 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 the goal for the Wings. Florida wins the faceoff. Florida wins the faceoff. Florida wins the faceoff. Here we go. Here we go. Brennan O'Neill with the goal for the Wings. Brennan O'Neill with the goal for the Wings. Brennan O'Neill with the goal for the Wings. Local freestyle action. Local freestyle action. Local freestyle action.
We got a good goal. Shooter does not touch the crease before the ball crosses the line. Face off.
Phil Caputo with the goal for the Wings. Phil Caputo with the goal for the Wings. shot is saved. Huge shot saved. Huge shot saved. And that's the end of the ball game. And your final score, Philadelphia Wings 50. Your Georgia score.